Father, we just thank you so much. We just set this time aside to come before you, join together as coaches that are looking to serve your kingdom, Lord. We know there's so many people out there in the darkness that just need that light. And we want to use this time to the gifts that you have through Brian to bring our blueprint, that exact client that we're looking for, those people that you need us to serve. So Father, we just give this time over to you. We ask you to lead it and guide us, and we just bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Well, I'm so honored to be here. Thanks for having me. Can I dive in?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
I was going to read your bio, but
oh yeah, read the bio.
You want
yeah,
to be introduced?
Yeah, we can introduce you properly.
I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Well, let me introduce you to our guest speaker today. Brian Dixon is a business coach and marketing strategist who helps clarify your message, build your audience, and create and launch life-changing products. Brian helps authors, speakers, and aspiring messengers create a sustainable business through growing their platform and creating compelling online courses. It's time to remove the clutter and focus on what really makes a difference in your business. Please welcome Brian Dixon.
You're amazing. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I want to make sure that you get value, and this is interactive. And I'm also available to you. The work that you're doing is so important. I believe that the world needs believers to be salt and light in all the niches and all the places. And we have an amazing opportunity. I don't know if you're paying attention to what's happening at Asbury right now, but like there's revival happening. It is so exciting. I'm a tear up just think about it. It is so exciting. And for years, I've been an online entrepreneur for 10 years now. This is my 10th year in business. And so I figured some stuff out along the way. I don't know everything. I'm a constant learner, but I think that the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And the fact that you're here and that you are investing in your own training and education, and that you're really seeking to serve your clients well, it just says a lot about you. So I'm honored to be here with you. I wanted to start out with a quick story. This was Julie and I have been married for 20 years now, 3 kids, living in South Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a business owner. I own a company called Hope Media Network. We have multiple membership sites and a book publishing division. And we've been doing that for 7 years now, the overall company. I just bought out my partners over the summer. So we can talk about business stuff. I love talking about money because I think we avoid talking about money. Jesus didn't avoid talking about money. And so I think it's really important for us to be able to talk about money in a way. Money's a tool, just like a knife, right? It can be used for good or for harm. But I want to talk about the first time I figured out how to make money on the internet, because it's not the kind of story that you would expect. Is that cool? Can I just go there? Just tell a quick story? Okay. So Julie and I have been married for 20 years, but when we were first married, we were school teachers. We got married, stayed school teachers for a year in Columbia, South Carolina, then moved to San Diego, California to pursue our advanced degrees. I have a doctoral degree in educational technology. And we moved out to San Diego away from family. All family was all on the East Coast, and we moved over to the West Coast to pursue our degrees. And so it was the first Christmas that we were in California. We decided to fly back home to where family was for a Christmas vacation, right? So we're 23 years old, right? Just young kids and visiting family, kind of the first time back home, if you will. And my cousin was 11 years old at the time. My aunt and uncle, they were hosting Christmas. So they had renovated their downstairs, the basement, and my 11-year-old cousin got a brand new room in the basement. And for Christmas, he got a brand new internet connected computer. Now this is many years ago now, 17, 18 years ago now. But at the time, a brand new internet connected computer in a kid's room sounded like the best idea in the world, right? He's going to be able to do his homework. He's going to be able to play video games. It's going to be amazing. But I was a teacher, and I knew that something wasn't this was a recipe for disaster. And I think each one of us as coaches, when we're working with a client or we're talking to a potential client and they say something that to them sounds like the best idea in the world, but for us as coaches, we go, wait a second. We've got that little tug in our spirit, right? That little pause. So I had that little pause. There's something there's something going on. I just don't know what it is. And so we went back upstairs after touring the home, went back upstairs for Christmas dinner. Christmas dinner was wonderful, beautiful. It was great. And about 10 minutes in, I just couldn't shake it. I'm like, there's something going on. I sense in my spirit, there's just something awry. And so I politely excused myself, snuck through the kitchen, downstairs, went to the computer, and I pressed one button on that mouse, one button. It was the history button. And what I found shocked me, because I know as a teacher, you don't give kids internet connected devices without any kind of filter and any kind of monitoring or anything. And it turns out that my 11-year-old cousin was completely addicted to pornography. In fact, he was so addicted that we couldn't figure it out because all the cookies, like the history, was showing up at 2:00, 2 in the morning. It didn't make any sense. He's sleeping at 2 in the morning. But we couldn't figure it out. And I prayed and I was like, Lord, how do I prove to my family this is a really serious thing? And then he showed me the alarm clock across the room. And I went over to the alarm clock. I remember it's those old digital alarm clocks with the red numbers, right? The flashing red numbers. And I went over and I pressed one button, the alarm 1 button. And there it was, clear as day, 2:00. He was so addicted to pornography that he was setting an alarm at 11 years old, setting an alarm, waking up 2 in the morning so he can go indulge in pornography. And I was a teacher. And if this can happen to my family, it can happen to all these other families that don't have I was getting a doctorate degree in educational technology. Like you'd think I would know how to teach my family how to keep their kids safe on the internet. And so we basically ruined Christmas because, by the way, your kid's a porn addict and happy Christmas, right? And so 2 days later, we get back on a plane to fly back to San Diego, pretty devastated at what the bomb that we just sort of like exploded in the living room of our family. And I just felt really beat down because I was teaching 7th and 8th graders. And if my cousin has this issue, they probably do too. And I knew that I had this passion to help kids stay safe on the internet, but I didn't know what to do with it. And maybe that's why many of you started out coaching. You have this passion. You want to help people grow their business. You want to help people improve their marriage. You want to help people thrive in their mental health, whatever it happens to be. So I didn't know what to do with this heart and with this passion. The last thing I would have done is create a product. It didn't make sense. This is heart, right? This isn't for money. This is mission. So I had all those limiting mindset beliefs too, right? So Christmas, January, February, March, here comes the end of March and we have our spring break. And I just couldn't shake this, that there are some basic things you can do to keep your kids safe on the internet. And so I started kind of talking to the parents of my students. Hey, by the way, just make sure you check your kids' history. Hey, by the way, just make sure you install an internet filter. Hey, by the way, and I found I was kind of doing drive-by coaching. I would just kind of like find a parent and tell them like, here's how to keep your kids safe on the internet. And so my wife and I, broke Christian school teachers living near the beach, instead of enjoying the beach for a week, what we decided to do is take the entire spring break and film a course. And we didn't even know it was a course at that time. We actually put it into a DVD. So this is old school days, right? We put it into a DVD called The Internet in Your Kids. And the only reason I created a DVD is because I wanted to be able to play it for my parents, for the parents of my students. That's it. I wasn't thinking product. And I didn't know how to make the DVD. So I Googled it. We didn't have Google at the time. I Yahoo'd it. I escaped it, whatever you use. I asked Jeeves about it. I'm old school, right? And I was like, how do you make a DVD? And it turns out that there is a thing called print on demand. I didn't know anything about this. So I took this video file of how to keep your kids safe on the internet, a 25-minute little teaching with my wife and I, looking really nervous, deer in the headlights, never recorded a video before, how to figure out how to do titles and graphics. The tools were not easy at the time. And took this little video and we made a print on demand DVD, and the company was owned by Amazon. So as a bonus, when you order the DVD, they add a listing on Amazon. I was like, that's cool. Like maybe I can order it from Amazon. So I ordered 5 copies, put them in my classroom library, thought nothing of it. I would just lend it out to parents. Thought that's the end. I fulfilled my mission. Well, guess what? About 6 weeks later, I got a notice from my Washington Mutual account and that there was an $800 charge from Amazon. And I thought I pressed the wrong button. Oh no. And we were poor school teachers. $800 is a lot of money for us. So I had to go to the bank. I couldn't even log in. I had to go to the bank and ask him about this charge from Amazon. And it turns out it wasn't a charge. It was a credit. That we got an $800 deposit from Amazon because families and schools from around the country were finding the DVD and they were playing it at their parent assembly nights. That is the first time I ever made $1 on the internet, by creating a DVD for my family. And so I want you to know that you can make money online. You can create products and services, memberships, coaching programs. There's so many things that you can do, but I really believe it starts with people. It starts with the people that are already in your life right now, the people that are already struggling. Instead of trying to go create somebody else's business, because that's what some guru says to do, start with the people that are right in your world right now. When Jesus looked at the crowd, he saw them as sheep without a shepherd. And I believe that each of us in our own way are like a little shepherd, and we've got sheep. God gave us a little group of sheep, some of us a lot, some of us a little, but that's our stewardship, is to care for those sheep and to see where they're stuck and to offer products and services to help them move forward, to help them get unstuck. And so that's really what I do now in terms of the coaching. So I help people like you figure out, who are your people? Where are they stuck? What's the goal? What's the process? What are the products, so that you can have a robust, growing business? So fast forward a few years, I kept growing in education, went from a teacher to an administrator, eventually founded a charter school. And then I fell in love with marketing. I wasn't born marketing. I didn't, come out of the womb and I knew how to do marketing. I learned marketing because we were trying to launch a school that would help kids get to college. And through that process of launching the school, we couldn't figure out how to get kids to our open house. And so somebody said, well, what about Facebook ads? So I tried running Facebook ads, and I didn't know what I was doing running Facebook ads, because you can't run Facebook ads to 13-year-olds. And then one day I was talking to a couple 13-year-olds at an 8th grade, like assembly thing. And I said, you guys use Facebook. They use Facebook at the time. And I'm like, how do I show an ad to you? Because you're 13. Hey, you're not supposed to use Facebook. And they say, oh, we lie about our age. We're all over 100. So I started running Facebook ads in Louisiana, where we had moved for this charter school, running Facebook ads to people that were 80 years old plus is the setting, that you had little demographics and you could pick 80 plus. And so all of these 80-year-olds in Louisiana and all the middle schoolers were seeing my ads. And that's how we filled up our school, by being wise as serpents, gentle as doves, trying to figure out strategies that work. So I just wanted to kind of intro to say, y'all, I'm here because I care about you and I care about your people. And it's not like cheesy marketing guy who's going to teach you some marketing things. It's about connecting your message to people. And we can use the tools of the culture. Like Paul used the Areopagus and the Romans Road to communicate the message at that time. We now have TikTok. It's amazing. We now have Instagram. It's incredible. We now have Facebook ads. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? We now have webinars. We have so many cool tools now to use to get the gospel out there, to connect to our audience, and to grow our client list. So I'm here to help you make money, because I believe that money is fuel for mission. And so if I can help you make $1 as a result of this conversation today, like I'm here for it. So that's what I wanted to start with. And Susan, like, is there something specifically that you want me to share, or you want to do Q&A? Like I'm here for you guys.
And unmute myself. Well, I sent out the one page that we started with. I don't even remember when you did that. That was a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah, love it.
So everybody should at least have a copy of that. So maybe just kind of talk through the I help X.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Can I share my screen and just kind of walk through it?
You should be able to. Yeah.
All right, cool. Here we go. All right. There we go. Got my screen going, and I'm just going to bring your faces back up. Okay. Thumbs up if you can see my screen. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, I created this tool because I would have conversations with coaches and speakers and authors. And I said, well, tell me about your business. And then they would say a lot of words, but there wasn't any clarity. And the less clarity you have, the more words you have to use. And so what if you use less words? And what if you were clearer? It would be easier to be Googleable and referable. So the outcome of filling this out right here, and I'll just walk you through it. The outcome of filling this out is people can Google you. Like, wouldn't it be great, Dave, if somebody could Google a couple of your keywords and find you and hire you, right? Like, Pam, wouldn't that be amazing if a friend of a friend said, oh, I'm going through this issue. And they're like, you should hire Pam because you're referable. And so the point of this kind of one-page business blueprint, if you will, is being Googleable and referable, because you want to be found, right? You want to impact people, but if they can't find you, they don't know how to hire you, then you can't make that impact. So that's what this is all about. I know it looks a little complicated, but I'm just going to kind of walk through this. Feel free to stop me on mute and say, Brian, explain that more, or I have a question about that. Thumbs up if that sounds good. We're just going to kind of walk through this real quick. Okay, awesome. So I think the best thing that you could do for your business, we actually, in each of our memberships, it's a second step in the membership. Second step is to create your XYZ statement, because I think it's that important. It's the foundation of everything you do. So our author community, our podcast community, our speaker community that we're launching next month, like every community that we have, XYZ statement is like the foundation of what we do. So it's real simple. I help X overcome Y so they can Z. And some of you might already have clarity on this. So if you do, type it in the chat. I'd love to see it, but use that format. I help X overcome Y so they can Z. So as an example, right? If I was like my own coaching that I do, which is a very small part of my week now, because we've got a pretty big company we're running, but my own coaching, I would say I help coaches, authors, and entrepreneurs who have a message. That's pretty good. I could get narrower than, but that's pretty good. So I help coaches, entrepreneurs, and authors with a message overcome technology hurdles and marketing blocks. It's pretty good. That's basically what I do. Help you with the technology, help you with the marketing, so they can start and scale a multiple six-figure business online. So that's kind of how I would say my XYZ. I'm just kind of making that up right now, but like that makes sense to me, right? I help coaches and authors and speakers overcome technology hurdles and marketing blocks so they can start and scale a six-figure online business that helps people. Now, obviously, that's probably about 30 words or so. I could make that 50 words. I can make that 5,000 words. So we could really expand it. But I think the narrower, the better. So when somebody meets me, they go, oh, Brian's the guy that works with authors. Brian's the guy that works with coaches. But I'm not the guy who works with people. I don't work with employees. Like that's not who I'm called to serve. So you getting clear on who you serve can really help. I want to see in the chat if somebody typed it in. Dennis, I help leaders build future leaders so they can continue to grow. That's awesome. What I would do there, Dennis, is like really dive into what is the challenge that leaders have with building future leaders. So that's the overcome. So maybe it's like, I help them overcome generational miscommunication, or I help leaders locate the next generation of leaders. And you can kind of flip it. Like the overcome can be the negative or the positive, but it's the problem you're solving or the solution that you're providing. I love this. Merity says, Melody, sorry. I help grieving Christians. Okay, that's clear. Now I might even narrow down and go, where are they grieving? One of my coaching clients helps families through pet loss. So are they grieving pets? Are they grieving spouse? Are they grieving child? What might be grieving? That might be a way to narrow down a little bit. I help grieving Christians through their grieving process so they can move forward both in their lives and their faith walk. I love it. That's a great start. So I help them. I help when they're grieving, through the grieving process. Now, what I might say is maybe they're getting stuck in the process somewhere, and I might want to define where it is specifically. So I help widows in their 30s. I help female, widows would be female, right? I help widows in their 30s get out of the house. I help widows in their 30s go on their first date. See, so like really kind of clarifying. It's cheesiest thing I'm going to say today. There's riches in the niches. So true. The more narrow you are, the more Googleable, the more referable. I help Christian widows in their 30s go on their first date so they can find a new father for their kids. Whoa. You see, that just got really powerful because you niche down. Now, can you work with a widower? Of course. Can you work with a family that lost their dog? Sure. But when you narrow down to something so specific, you become you have no competition anymore. You're now a blue ocean. So there's a huge opportunity there. Terry Ann, I empower women defeat the lies of negative self-talk by changing their perspective, exploring possibilities, opening their eyes to new pathways onto which they can choose to proceed in truth. Okay, it's great. It's a really good start. I think you're clearer on the Y and the Z than maybe the X. So one little framework, what I love to do with the X of like who's the people is I take 3 of the most important women in my life, which is my amazing, incredible 10-year-old daughter, Emmeline, my 40-ish wife, Julie, and then my grandmother, who's 96 years old, we call her Nanny. So Emmeline, Julie, and Nanny. Of course, my mom could fit in there too, but I'm just picking 3 people. And so I would take your XYZ and say, is that true of the 10-year-old? Is that true of the 40-year-old? Is that true of the 96-year-old? And if it is, you got to pick one. So kind of narrow down. That can maybe help. Okay, Denise says, I help missionaries overcome unprocessed challenges. So I might define missionaries a little bit more. Are they on the field right now? Are they currently on furlough? Are they preparing to go on the field? Are they back from the field? Are they in a specific region? I'm on a mission agency board. We actually have our board meeting tomorrow, and we've got missionaries all over the world. And there's a really big difference between European missionaries and, and missionaries in unreached people groups. So I might narrow down a little bit. Denise, I help missionaries overcome unprocessed challenges. Unprocessed challenges, that's a big deal we deal with, so they can be healthy spiritually, physically, and mentally. I love it. Oh, this is so fun. Okay. John Nemo. John Nemo is a really good friend. So your XYZ statement is where it starts. Then everything stems from that XYZ statement. Okay. Then how do I help them? How do I help them? And how do I make money doing this? How do I make money doing this? The Bible says a righteous man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So I challenge you to do the math. Jesus said, actually it was in Psalms, right? Teach us the number of days so we may gain a heart of wisdom. And Jesus talked about a foolish man builds a tower without counting the costs. So this is a theme in scripture, to count the costs. So if we're to be righteous, right, good and faithful servant, we should have money for 2 generations. That's pretty different philosophy than traditional American Christianity, right? 2 generations. So count the costs, like do the math on it. So I've done the math and it's $3.7 million. I need $3.7 million in savings to be a righteous man. Oh my goodness. Now it's not like I'm trying to earn salvation, but I think it's good counsel of scripture to look at wisdom. It would be wise for me to have savings so that I can leave an inheritance to my children's children. So I did the math, and that's a lot of money. And so how do you get that money? How do you not just go from, I don't think I can be a coach this month, I think I need to go get a job, to my coaching practice is thriving. I have multi streams of income. I'm impacting countless team members and clients and communities. And I think that really comes from a value ladder of like, what is it that you actually offer? The biggest difference between a broke coach and a thriving coach is only one thing. It's actually 2 words, 2 words, 2 words. Buy now. Buy now. You just say buy now. Or you could say, would you like to work with me? Can we get started on Monday? Which package would you like to choose? But you've got to make the offer. If you don't make the offer, they won't pay. They won't buy if you don't say, I'd love to work with you. Which package would you like? And then they say, you know what? I think I'm going to start, because I do some one-on-one. I think I'm going to start with a year long. Like I want to do a year with you. That sounds awesome. Oh, great. Okay, cool. Do you have the link? Sign up. When are you going to sign up? I'm going to sign up tonight. Okay, great. So if it's tomorrow at 10 a.m. and I log into Kajabi and your money hasn't come through, what am I going to say? Oh, no, I'm going to do it tonight. Okay, great. So buy now, right? Because later is never. Okay, got it. See, there's a little bit of assertiveness, but I do that because I want my client to move forward. I want my coaching client to move forward. So let's talk about the value ladder real quick. Your value ladder. There's 4 levels of working with your clients. And the biggest mistake I see coaches make is only having one of these rungs. So imagine trying to like take down your Christmas lights with a ladder with only one rung on the ladder. Like that's going to be dangerous, right? You're like reaching for this rung and trying to, so you need kindness. Clarity is having a few ways to work with you, a few steps in the process. So I would recommend number 1 is you start with something for free. I've seen this gap on coaches' websites. There's nothing free. So people do business with people they know, like, and trust. How do you build know, like, and trust? You give them some free content. Some of you have never met me before. You've never heard my name before, but after us spending some time together today, you're like, okay, I kind of like that. Like I might want to learn from that guy. This is me giving you free value right now, right? So it could be a webinar. It could be a podcast interview. It could be a free download. It could be a quiz. There's a lot of things that you could do for free, but it could be 15 minutes with you. I kind of like that. I've got a pretty high filtering process and I charge a lot. And so I'm just like, come spend 15 minutes with me and we'll figure out if I'm a good fit. So I do briandixon.com on my website. That's my lead magnet right now. My free value ladder, first rung, is just book a 15-minute call. I haven't always done that, but I found that's the most effective because I just want to sell high ticket. I want to sell long packages for multi-$1,000s. So that's the first thing, is like, what's the thing you give away for free that builds a relationship with your potential client? So we can talk about that. Then the next rung, and I actually recommend this after they do the free thing. So let's say, for example, that you said, I'm going to go through your XYZ so I can give you real examples. Okay. Missionaries. So let's say, Denise, that your free thing is something about the 7 reasons missionaries quit and how to fix it, something like that. So that could be a free download. It could be a video series, but they go to your website and you say, did you know that there are 7 reasons why missionaries quit the mission field and abandon the mission? I have a free download for you, and it will show you what these 7, with statistics, it'll show you what these 7 reasons are and how to combat that so you stay on the mission field and continue your good work. Okay, click, enter your name and email. Then on the thank you page, after they enter their name and email, that's where you offer your self-study. Self-study is like $29 to $59. Like, it's kind of in that mid-tier price point. And that's probably a video. It's probably a course, something like that. So then the group is, and I know many of you are, as coaches, you have group coaching. I love 6 weeks. You meet on Monday nights on Zoom, 6 weeks. It's like $297. We have this group coaching program. That one can be really, really effective. And then finally, the one-on-one, that's your highest dollar, whatever you're charging, double it, you're worth it. And also extend that package. Don't do 1 calls, like do 3, do 6, do a year, like really encourage your audience to take action and to make commitment. So that's what your value ladder looks like. Now, generally, people scale your value ladder. They're going to start at the free, then they'll buy your course, then they'll join your group, then they'll do the one-on-one generally. But sometimes you have more of an affluent buyer that just says, I just want to do one-on-one, and they'll skip all the way past that stuff. And so on your website, you can have how to work with me, and you can have those 4 options. And some people are just going to be like, I just need to work with her right away. And they'll do the highest level thing. Those are my favorite people to work with. I'm going to pause. I feel like I'm just a fire hose right now. Questions, comments?
And feel free to either use the raise your hand or come off mute and ask. Brian's quick. He's good at everything.
I'd love to hear your voice if you want to unmute. Okay, keep going. Okay, keep going. Let's go. All right, cool. So then, how do you do this? Like, how does this thing work? How do you get people on your ladder, right? You got this website. Well, if you don't have a website, maybe have some sort of home on the internet, right? Social media is like building your house in the Target parking lot. Like, they might let you keep your house there for a little while, but eventually they're going to knock it over and they're going to move your stuff. And so you can build a following on Facebook and on LinkedIn and everything. But one day they're going to go, wait a second, you're a Christian? I'm going to cancel you now and you're dead and you're gone. This has happened to me so many times. It's happened to my clients so many times. I have a pretty good Instagram following and I'll get frozen for like 30 days. Why? Because I said Jesus. Like, it happens. And so you've got to have a home base on the internet that people can't take away from you. Currently, the internet is pretty open. So the 2 most valuable assets you have in your business is, number 1, your email list. And then number 2, your website, a place that people can come to. So I recommend you buy your name. It took me like 8 years to finally buy briandixon.com because somebody else owned it and wouldn't sell it to me. But you having your own name is really easy. And then having some sort of way for them to get on your email list, because then you can just email them. So if your Instagram account gets deleted or your Facebook page gets banned, you can at least send an email. And what I do once a week is I download my entire email list and I have a backup of it, because you can take that email list and you can bring it to other places. And that then you're kind of uncancelable, especially if you're bold with your faith, because, social media doesn't love you being bold with your faith. I reposted something about South Carolina just passed a abortion ban, and people sent me recordings of the screenshot. So I use Instagram stories a lot. So I had like a story about something else, story about something else, story about something else, story about the abortion ban, story about something else. So it was like 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2 people sent me a recording of my stories where Instagram was showing story 1, showing story 2, showing story 3 for 0.1 second and skipping it automatically, and then going to story 4. They were intentionally skipping my content. So we all know that there's a bias when it comes to social media. And so you've got to build your house on land you own and not land that you're renting or squatting, really. Social media is kind of squatting. It's not even renting. So how do you do this? I call it the customer conversion formula, VSC. So if there's 100 people that visit your website, about 10% of them will subscribe. They'll enter their information on your website. And now you have people you can connect with, you can message later. So visitors are coming from, oh, I heard about him on a podcast. Oh, I heard about her, or I saw her on a social. So they go from social, they go to your website, they're visiting your website. Okay, that's the V. Your subscribers are people who opt in, they do something, they enter their info, but your customers are the people that actually transact with you, actually hire you as a coach or buy your course or your book or whatever it is you happen to offer. Generally, it's 100, 10, 1. So if you look at your math on your you want to do 6 figures a year, it's 83.33 a month. And you go, okay, well, if I have one coaching group for $697, how many people do I need to be in it? You just do it that way, right? So what is that? 12 people. So if I want 12 customers of my coaching group, I'm going to need 120 email subscribers. And that means I need 1,200 people that come to my website, because it's 1,200 people. 10% is 120 that are now subscribers. And then 10% of them are the 12 customers that I need in my coaching group in order to do a 6-figure business, 83.33 a month. Thumbs up if that makes sense. I know math out loud is a little confusing sometimes, right? So if you think about that, the question is, how am I getting more subscribers today or visitors today? How am I getting more people to learn about me today? So I recommend that you leave the fold, you go out there as a missionary, you go out there on podcasts, you go to groups like this, you go, hey, this is what I offer. And you're making connections with new people, because that's the money is already in somebody's pocket. And so you're just trying to connect with people that might need your products and services. So you go out there and get them, you bring them back to your home base, which is your visitors. And then from there, you offer them something compelling, which is how you get them to become a subscriber. They won't, I see this all the time on coaches' websites. Enter your name and email for updates. Nobody wants updates. They don't want updates. What they want is value. So give them some value. Give them something for free. Take that one thing that you tell your coaching clients all the time, record it in a 10-minute video, and give that thing away for free. Hey, I created a 10-minute video that will actually help you improve your marriage in less than 30 minutes a week. Just click right here, enter your name and email to get access to the video. Like, that's a pretty good lead magnet. I just made that up, but that's a pretty good way to get people to go from visitor to subscriber. Once they become a subscriber, they're on your email list. And so then we nurture them. We send them good value, good value, good value. I like, value, value, value offer, value, value, value offer. It's kind to make an offer to get them to move forward. So that's the customer conversion formula. We can pause there and check in. Do you want to do that? Any questions on that? You just want the whole thing. This is fun. All right.
I just wanted to jump in real quick, Brian.
Yeah,
I remember one of the things that you did, I think you spent like 3 or 4 hours one night going through your email list and looking up everybody's website. And then you offered something the next day or whatever, saying, hey, I went to the website. I can't tell what you actually do. How can we update that for you? Yep. And that was one of the most powerful things. He says, oh, it might be really beautiful. You have a big butterfly and, whatever. But if I don't know what you've done, what that means, how does that serve me? That's not going to draw anyone in. That's or right. Also, if your last blog that you posted was 6 years ago, you're not showing that you're updated and stuff like that. So that was something that you took the time to go through and then touch point a personal timing to each person. Here's what I saw. This is what I did. I actually went and looked. So I think that's a powerful thing too. Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the fastest way to money. So for example, Julie and my wife and I had a financial goal and I had knee surgery. This is last December, two Decembers ago. So I was laid up for, I don't know, 3 weeks or something, is where I wasn't allowed to walk because I had knee surgery. And so I'm like, cool, I'm going to launch a coaching group because we need money because we have this thing. Oh, you know what? It was our 20-year anniversary. So this is last December. We wanted to go to Cancun, like fancy Cancun. And it was like $8,300, I think, or $8,600 for this trip. And I'm like, we should do it. She's like, we have money, but we don't have that money. Like, we don't have that money saved. I'm like, oh, I'll just go make it. She's like, what? I'm like, oh no, I'll just go make it. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? No idea. So I took out my phone. This is a true story. Took out my phone. Well, they're all true stories. This is my phone. I was laid up. So I was literally on my back. I don't think I've told this thing on the internet yet. Okay. Don't share this. I'm not sure how it's going to come out yet. Had my like left leg up because I just had surgery, icing it, every 30 minutes. And I just went on Instagram and I just looked for a certain hashtag, which was, what was it? It was like Christian author. I think that's what I did. Hashtag Christian author. And I just went, hey, everybody that uses hashtag Christian author is somebody who needs to join my coaching group. So it was called the Experience to Income coaching group. And I think I charged $497 for it, $497. It was 6 weeks, Monday nights at 8 o'clock. That's my secret sauce. 6 weeks, Monday nights at 8 o'clock. I don't know why it works, but it just works. Eastern time. You get 6 weeks on Zoom, and I'm just going to coach you as a group for 6 weeks for $497. And what did I do? Is I just went on Instagram and I typed in the hashtag Christian author or Christian coach or whatever it was. And then I would just click on their face and I would follow, and then I would leave a helpful comment. And I just went through the list, follow, helpful comment, follow, helpful comment, follow, helpful comment. Okay. I went through probably about 150 people, and that's not that long. That's like 3 hours. Like that's not that big a deal. You have 3 hours. And then the next day, I responded to the people that messaged me. Believe it or not, people messaged me. They're like, oh, thank you so much for leaving that comment. Or they replied. Great. And I just did that again. So I went, first one was first follow, then helpful comment, then respond to them, then another helpful comment. And then after 4 interactions, then I can say, hey, by the way, I don't know if you might be interested, but by the way, I've got this coaching group coming up. Do you want to know more about it? ? That's it. I'm not selling, I'm inviting. Okay. So I went through that whole process, and the only people that even heard about it had already interacted with me a couple of times. And this is all with me flat on my back on the couch. Okay. So then, sure, I want to hear about it. That sounds great. They know me as a generous person who left a helpful comment, right? And they've read my stuff, and they're like, I kind of like that guy. That guy could help me. And so let me just do the math real quick. So I did, let's say 8,600 divided by 497. Yeah, 17 people. I think we had 22 people in the group. 22 people. They all, no ads, no email. I didn't even email my list, just Instagram direct messaging, because they found value by the value that I was bringing. And so I think so many of us wait for inbound. We wait for people to come to us. I've got a website and nobody's coming. And it's like owning a cupcake shop with no highway, no driveway to your shop. And so what do? You take the cupcakes, you get out of your store and you go stand on a street corner. You say, well, cupcakes for sale. You get in front of where people are. And so as coaches, we can get in front of where people are. So Susan was saying, one thing that I did is I was like, I'm going to have a website boot camp thing, like how to fix your website. And so let me go find a bunch of websites. So I just started going to people's websites and like just sending them an email on the contact list. Like, hey, I was looking at your website. Actually, didn't I do a video? I think I did a video. Yeah. So I used a tool called, there's a lot of them, but I just did like a screen recording. And I just went on somebody's website and said, hey, I'm on your website. It's Brian. Hi, I'm on your website. Most of them didn't know me. I'm on your website. And I was just looking around. It looks like there's 3 things that you could fix on your website that would really help you. So here's what I would do. And I just send it for free. And don't you know, like half of them wanted to hire me because I helped them, right? I showed up with some value. Okay. Thumbs up, keep going. Thumbs down. We want to pause and check in for questions. Keep going. Okay. So then finally, the client attraction system. Imagine if you had this thing printed out and hung up on your wall, and you could just look at it every day and go, oh yeah, I needed it. This is what I should work on. So client attraction system. So how do you get people to come to you, come to your website? I think that there's really like four ways that have been really effective for me. So if you do a 4-day work week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you take Friday off and have the weekend for family and Sunday for Sabbath. Monday is paid ad day. Tuesday is search day. Wednesday is guest experting day. Thursday is social day. And you just do that. So let's just walk through real quick. You probably know paid ads. There are a lot of amazing places that you can pay a little bit of money and it'll show your stuff to people. Ryan Dice calls it the traffic store. Just go to the traffic store. If you've got a blog post that's connecting to people and it leads people to your lead magnet, go to the traffic store and say, hey, what if I gave you 50 bucks? What would you do? And they'll say, oh, you give me 50 bucks? Here, I'll give you 2,000 eyeballs. You're like, I like eyeballs. Cool. So you just make a deal with the traffic store. Now, there's different traffic stores and they have different rates of what they charge. So Facebook isn't very friendly to faith-based people. We've gotten, Google's not liking us right now. So we aren't able to run our Google ads for our Christian Entrepreneur Conference that we have coming up in Nashville. But TikTok's liking us right now. So we run TikTok ads. Like, go where the people are, right? So that's the paid ads. We can talk more about that. Search terms is, I want you to picture somebody is desperate. They are a missionary who just came home and they are thinking of quitting. What do they Google? They go on Google and they tell Google their problems. Google knows everything. And they go on Google and they say, should I quit being a missionary? You go on Google, type in, should I quit being a missionary? And the first 5 things that show up, those are your new best friends. Go be friends with those people. Figure out who they are. Leave a comment at the bottom of their blog. If they have a podcast, try to get on that podcast. Write them and say, hey, can I write a guest post for your blog? Can you interview them on your platform? Go be friends with those people, because what will happen, those are the people that are getting discovered. So what if you're like number 37 and you go build a relationship with the top 5 people? Don't you think eventually your thing's going to rise up and you're going to be found in the search engine? But also these people are going to start referring people to you. So that's what I mean by search terms. Like, what are the search terms that you want people to use to find you? Okay, number 3, guest experting. This is my favorite one. Like, why build a train when you could just get invited to go on somebody else's train? You know, that's kind of my philosophy. So it's like, Susan's awesome. Hey, I'll be on your thing and come talk to your people. No problem. I love going on podcasts. Podcasts need podcast guests. There are millions of podcasts. There are podcasts in your genre. If you go to Apple Podcasts and type in missionary, you probably have to filter some of the explicit results. But if you type in Christian missionary, then you're going to find, that was a joke. And I didn't get one smile from you guys. That was probably dirty. I'm sorry. You go on podcasts, you type in missionary, go to the Christian podcasts, and you go be friends with those people. Leave a comment, leave a review, say, hey, I could be a guest on your platform if you need somebody to help you, because I'm a coach and I help missionaries. And then maybe 1 out of 20 say yes. So it's just numbers. So ask 100 people, you get 5 interviews. You go in those 5 interviews, you show up, you give a lot of value like I am. I'm not holding anything back. I'm not saying, pay me $1,000 and I'll tell you the truth. No, you just give a lot of value. And what will happen is you'll build a relationship with a few of those people in that audience. So that's what guest experting looks like. I recommend 2 hours a week. Just go be a guest somewhere. 1 hour here, 1 hour there. You do that for a year and you'll be on 100 shows. It can be really, really powerful. And then finally, social, and this, it's always changing. I 100% believe if you're on TikTok, that's the place to be right now. I know that's controversial to say, but like, there's so much attention there right now. If you took out your phone every day and you held it up and you press record and you said, listen, and then whatever your thing is, right? So listen, if you're a mom right now who's feeling really overwhelmed, I have one secret strategy for you. Then you say whatever your secret strategy is, and you say, like and follow for more tips. And then you post it on TikTok and you put your phone away. And you do that for like 30 days in a row, and people are going to start hiring you because the algorithm is smarter than us. And so it knows things, and it's going to start putting that content in front of moms who are feeling sad, who need you as a coach. So that's the whole thing. I know I went super fast, but imagine if you printed this out at, the UPS store and filled this all in and had it up on your wall and you looked at it every day, you'd probably make more money and you'd probably help a lot more people because you have clarity as to what exactly you do. All right. Whoa, fire hose. Okay. Who has questions?
Hey, Brian, I've got a question.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, so as you look at doing videos for your free things that you're going to offer, your talks and your tips,
yeah,
what do you invest in order to get a good video? Do you just use the video camera with your Mac and a good microphone? Okay.
Just
Got
that.
it. Okay.
Listen, there's always new technology that you could have. And for years, for years, I was like, when I get this thing, then I'm going to blah, blah, blah. We're doing great in business. If you looked at my desk, I've got all the fancy stuff, but barely use any of it. I'm using a webcam, a microphone, and a light. That's really all I use. And so it's not about the tools, it's about how you use them. And so, you know, you could use anything. Just use your kid's phone. You know, they're so good now compared to old days.
Yep. Great. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. What if this feels overwhelming? Okay. Raise your hand if it feels a little overwhelming. Yes. I see your hands. If this feels overwhelming, guess what? It's time to get an intern. It's time to get an intern. There are people who natively understand TikTok, who spend 3 hours a day on TikTok, and they're like 17 years old, and they are somewhere in your world. They might be like a third circle, like a friend of a friend of a friend. And so what if you said to a few people, hey, I'm looking for a TikTok intern. I'm looking for somebody who understands how TikTok works and can help me share my message out there. Believe it or not, this is so true. Believe it or not, it's cool on TikTok. Okay. I'm saying it for a 44-year-old guy to say those words out loud sounds funny, right? It's cool on TikTok right now to promote older people. It's true. Okay. The coolest, funniest people on TikTok are like grandpas and grandmas right now. Like it's a thing. Because the reason is because there's a whole generation that's not being mentored. And so they're looking for wisdom. They really are. They're desperate for wisdom. And so what if you had somebody in your church, you said, hey, listen, I'm looking to hire like a high school kid to be in charge of my TikTok. And what if you paid him a little bit? I mean, we're talking not that much, right? $12 an hour, and they work a couple hours a week, like $25. I mean, think about that. That would save you so much time. And then what they do is once a week after church, you meet them somewhere, or they come to your house, or you meet at one of the church offices, and they interview you and they ask you some questions, and you simply just tell them about what you do. And their job is to make 5 TikToks with you. That's it. And we're not talking dancing. Dancing doesn't work to grow business. We're talking like, hey, if you are a missionary and you're so overwhelmed and struggling right now that you want to quit, you've got to watch this. And then you explain, listen, one of the best tips is to take time to breathe, because most missionaries forget to breathe. So here's a little breathing, or like whatever your thing is. So you have that high school student film you, make the little edits, schedule the post. You can schedule them now, schedule the post. They're done. They got $25 to help you after church. And you're like, oh my goodness, I had no, and you don't even have to go into TikTok. China doesn't have to spy on you, right? It just let the high school kid do the thing. It can be really powerful. So you don't have to be a plumber to have a toilet that works. You do not have to figure out TikTok in order to share your message. Up to 3 minutes. Yeah, TikTok's up to 3 minutes, but the most effective ones are literally like 18 seconds. Yeah, really short. They're goldfish, right? We're dealing with guppies now. There's like little attention span. So do that. Bring an intern on. There are people who want training. They want opportunity right now. Like this is the number one job. They do not want to be doctors and lawyers. They want to be TikTok famous. And so if they can work with you and help you get your stuff out there, it's like exciting to them. They'd probably do it for free. Yeah. Awesome.
So does anyone else have any questions as far as like coming up with your XYZ? Brian's really good if you want to just even come forward and just speak it out loud, and it doesn't even have to make sense. He's good at pulling those.
It doesn't the first time anyway.
Yeah, usually doesn't. Exactly.
Hey, Brian, I threw mine in the chat. Would you take a look at just see?
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. Awesome. Carrie said, I help mid-level leaders. Okay. So mid-level leaders. So I would like dive into that and just go, well, who? You ask who 3 times. You go, oh, I help. What organization? Like, what's their job? Like, you could really dive in there. So I help mid-level leaders who want to communicate better overcome their lack of communication. So I help mid-level leaders overcome their lack of communication skills and fear of public speaking. I pick one. Ends and commas are the ones that always make me a little nervous, especially as you're trying to get clarity. So you can always expand later. So I help mid-level leaders overcome their fear of public speaking so they can provide mission, vision, and guidance. I would get really tangible in what's the outcome so they can get a raise. Why are they mid-level? Why don't they be top level? So I help mid-level leaders speak confidently in meetings so they can get promoted. There you go. Something like I would really narrow it down that way. And then you can make your TikTok. And your TikTok is, hey, listen, have you ever had to run a meeting and you find yourself standing up in front of people and you get freaked out and you don't know what to say? Hi, I'm Carrie, and I'm a leadership coach to help you get more confident in public speaking. And here's one tip that can help you. Before you start your speech, take a sip of water. For more tips, follow. That's the whole post. And you do that 100 times and people will be like, oh man, I've learned so much from you. This is so incredible. Awesome. You're good. Thanks, Lisa. Okay. So here's the thing. Never leave the scene of inspiration without a clear action step. So what is your clear action step? What's the one thing you're going to do? And if you don't know what you're going to do, it's not what, it's who. Find your who, right? Dan Sullivan and Ben Hardy wrote a great book called Who Not How. Has anybody read that book? So good. Who Not How. It's not about you doing it as a coach. It's about finding somebody who already loves doing it. So when we built our hybrid book publishing, I'm like, I don't know how to publish books and I don't know how to edit books, but I do know how to sell the opportunity to publish books. So I'm going to sell, and then I'm going to hire people that edit and hire people that do all the other stuff. And those people love working with us because they do the thing that they want to do. So I didn't have to figure out the how, I had to figure out the who. And so maybe some of you that are stuck in the how right now, you're like, how do I do TikTok? Find a who. Go find a 17-year-old girl at your, or guy even, at your church and just go, listen, this is going to sound crazy, but somebody challenged me to get started on TikTok. Can you help me with that? And they'd be like, oh, are you kidding me? Miss Pam, I'd love to help you, Miss Pam. Like, come on. Or Instagram or whatever. Yeah. Okay,
Hey,
what's
Brian?
your action step? Yeah. Go ahead, Dennis.
Brian, is YouTube passe now?
No, YouTube is
No,
amazing.
Okay, then my to-do is I'm going to talk to my 12-year-old grandson that looks at every Minecraft video that there is on YouTube, and I'm going to ask him to be my intern to develop a couple of videos to put on YouTube.
I love it. I'm excited about that. Let me show you this. This is where screenshotting. Here, if I haven't delivered any value for you, this will be worth it right here. Take a snapshot of that right there. This is from my friend Brock Johnson. The average lifespan of social media posts. Instagram, it's about 20 hours. And this is true. I could write the most coolest viral thing on Instagram, and about 20 hours later, nobody's liking it because the algorithm went away. TikTok is like immediately, it either hits or it doesn't. It's very, very fascinating. When it hits, it lasts for a long time, but most of them die. Pinterest lasts for 3 months, 3.75 months. You create something on Pinterest and it gets found for almost 4 months. Twitter is real short, 24 minutes. What's going on right now? What the heck is that balloon? I have no idea. 24 minutes. That's what TikTok's all about, or Twitter's all about. Facebook is just a couple hours. And then YouTube, this is why I brought this up. YouTube is more than a week. So you can create one piece of content with your nephew on Sunday afternoon or whatever and go, listen, let's do like a 5-minute video. And I'm just going to share my 5-minute leadership tip once a week on YouTube. And you take it, edit it, and post it. You do that once a week, and that video will get life all the way through the week. And that can be a really powerful way to start.
And then Dennis, you have to share with us what you come up with. I want to see what the 12-year-old comes up with.
So good.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do that.
So
Y'all
just
are awesome.
a couple minutes left. Is there anything pressing anybody wants to get in? Because Brian will be going here in a
I
second.
have one question. You mentioned in terms of a website, you mentioned, purchasing your name, but I feel like the Lord's given me a name for, I haven't started coaching business yet. I haven't started yet. I'm just, so this is Firehose because I haven't started yet.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's given me a name and I've already searched and I know the domain's available. So rather than purchasing my name, would it be okay to just purchase the name of what I think the business what
Yeah.
I feel the Lord's given me? Okay.
Yeah, you could do all the things. I'd recommend both. I'd recommend you get your name because it's good to have your name. I own the name of my kids and my wife and even a couple of friends. I'm like, hey, one day you're going to do something on the internet. You're going to want your name. And so I'm like, $15. Like, I'll buy your name for you. So nobody else is going to grab that name. So definitely everybody should have their name. I think that's really effective. And then number two, if you're like, you know what, I think I want to have like peanut butter and grace. Like I want somebody to just come to my website and just, well, great, get peanutbutterandgrace.com, but have it redirect to your name or whatever your thing is. It sounds like you don't want to say your name, which is totally fine. But like you can get those all to direct to the same place, or you could have a separate site down the road, totally fine. But buying the domain is like one of the most important things first.
Thank you.
Awesome, Wendy. Y'all have important work that you're doing, but the work starts when we get our client. And so I think it's really important for us to master these skills. The proverb says, see a man who's skilled in his labor. He will not stand before idle men. He'll stand before kings. That there are kings of this world. There are leaders in this world that need you as a coach, but you've got to level up your marketing sales in order to just get in front of them. And so I really, really challenge you. Either you figure out the how or you figure out the who, but either way, your coaching is so important that it means digging deep. And I challenge my clients this all the time. Stop reading the soul care books. You already know how to care for your soul. Stop reading the soul care books. Go get a marketing book. Go get a book that's going to level up your marketing skills. Because listen, I love all the spirituality, soul care, spiritual direction stuff, but you already know that stuff. Go read something you don't know. My number one book I recommend is this one right here. Go read this book. I know I'm coming in pretty hot with this, but go read this book. This book will change your life. It's called Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. Go read this book. Read this book 10 times, and then you can read that spiritual direction book that you've been meaning to read. Okay?
That book is excellent. And Brian, I also took a page from your book, and we're doing monthly business book reading. So I have one every month. And in fact, Brian's book is coming up in a couple of months. I don't remember what order I put that one in, and it's the Start with Others. Awesome. Right? Is that what it is? Did I say it right?
Start with your people.
Start with your people. Yeah. And so that's going to be there.
I love it. Melody wants other books. Just read that book.
Yeah, wants a lot.
Read that book and books, email me and I'll tell you the next book. I love it.
Yeah,
awesome.
What is that book again, Brian?
It's called Expert Secrets.
Thank you.
He talks about having a future-based cause and being on a mission for your people. So basically what he says is you need to become an expert in your industry for people to pay attention. That's the world we live in. We live in the age of the expert. We like celebrity. We want people that are not Dave. We love you, Dave, but like next level Dave, like he calls it an attractive character. You need to be the kind of Dave that people go, whoa, I could be like that guy. That's awesome. And so that's kind of what he talks about, is becoming that, so that people go, oh, he could help me. All right. Well, thanks for having me, y'all. Listen, I'm available. Okay. I really want to be available. You're doing really important work. So you can email me. I prefer Instagram messaging. It's so much easier, or Facebook messaging, but just find me. I'm Brian Dixon, briandixon.com. So easy to find. But please send me a message if you get stuck, and I can at least point you in the right direction. Usually I'll just send you a YouTube video, be like, watch this first, and that will help you move forward, because your message matters. You're doing really important work in the world, and I'm really honored to be here with you today.
Brian, thank you so much. I can't express it. I'm so excited that you came here. It's good to see you. I've missed chatting with you.
Of course.
So anyway, all right,
Awesome.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Have a
Brian.
blessed day, everyone.